Start with Avi Amon, 2008 graduate, presenting on behalf of the University of Delaware. Should I mention the topic and all that kind of stuff?
It's right up there.
It's right up there? Okay, then we'll just kind of like go. Alrighty. Here's the deal. You got 20 slides. You have 15 seconds per slide. Don't screw it up.
No pressure.
No pressure. Alrighty. Avi.
Great. So wonderful to be here. Well, a few weekends ago, I auditioned at NYU for the Graduate Musical Theater Writing Program. The entire weekend was built around a collaborative project, writing a scene and 2 songs from scratch with a randomly assigned partner and presenting it to the faculty at the end of the weekend. This is the prompt we ended up choosing. We brainstormed on Friday, we worked all day Saturday. It really seemed like they were stressing this idea of collaboration above all else, perhaps even more than the talent of the individual students. So it got me thinking, what does that mean? I like to think that collaboration is working with and learning from other people's improvisational structure. And now we all improvise in different ways, from brainstorming to getting dressed in the morning. So for me, it's jazz and the piano. And the piano, though beautiful, is a very lonely instrument. There are plenty of outlets to perform with other people, but for the most part, you're doing your own thing. So I have to constantly break down 20 years of trained hermetism in order to be a successful collaborator, but still, I improvise through that lens. Coming right up, this is going to be a C scale. It's the most basic building block of the musical language. La da 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 da. Using this, I can pretty much do anything I want. The idea is I understand my structure. Real improvisation, which is really another talk in its own right, is creating a set of parameters within which you feel comfortable creating your own luck and suffering miserable failures. So to tie this back into collaboration, I want to do a little non-musical group project. I'm going to put up a word search without writing anything down or getting too serious. I want you to find as many words as you can. Think of it as a 15-second game of Boggle. It's going to simulate an improvisational collaborative group project, and for the sake of control, there are a finite number of outcomes. In this case, 6. So go ahead.
Guitar.
Shh.
Bang. Cookie. Cake.
Piano.
Cook.
All right, so who got cookie? All right, who got guitar? Who got LeBron? All right. Even in this tiny sample population, there's a huge variance in the interest and thus in the data. Using our own mental improvisation, we're drawn to different outcomes using different techniques. So using science, I've created a little diagram to highlight this in a very basic way. Some of us found the same words and some of us found other words that other people didn't find. But this image is a little limiting because it doesn't include 2 things, time and what I like to call influential growth. What if these circles were fluid? What if something I say or do necessarily influences something that you think? Now, when you add these new dimensions of time and collaboration, your realm of possibility is totally expanded. You start to make connections based on this new influx of information, something that just wouldn't have happened if that other person, thing, idea, experience wasn't there. This phenomenon happens almost by accident, and it is so beautiful. It's actually what Ignite is all about. Now, you interact with hundreds of these circles on a daily basis. If you imagine them as part of this vast, creative and knowledge network, it's pretty amazing. For example, I have friends who teach, who are in med school, who are beekeepers, who do fuel cell research, who produce records. Them being interested forces me to learn, if nothing else, just to keep up. And there's always going to be these superhuman freak people who just wow you with everything that they do. But even though they have larger circles of influence, there's still room to learn and contribute and all that in all the extra white space. And there's also the opposite. We've all have memories of that dreaded group project in high school or college where you were assigned some random country to research, and it was awful because you did all the work while your partners were busy drinking at grottos. The key difference here is that I'm not talking about teamwork. I don't like to think of the two as synonyms. In fact, teamwork is more of a subset of collaboration. I like to move beyond the traditional sense of the word because it is a little limiting. Instead, what I found most interesting is this idea of constantly collaborating, consciously or not. I guess you could call it life collaboration. Moving beyond a designated collaboration brainstorm time to finding creativity and inspiration everywhere. And when you include more people in that, your sense of everywhere expands. And there's so many different people with different ideas. You just never know when you're going to need one versus or another. So it's good to keep them around. It's kind of like hoarders, but for ideas and creativity instead of cats and papers from 1974. So I think we can all take a lesson from Vanilla Ice here, whose real name is apparently Robert Van Winkle. I did not know that. Though I would never condone theft, he definitely benefited from his collaboration with Queen. And that song made him way cooler than he ever would or should have been on his own. But back to this initial bit. My partner and I ended up writing a tango, something I know a lot about, between a jaded woman, something she knows a lot about, and a piece of chocolate cake, something we were both well versed on. And it actually turned out really, really well. I actually just got my letter in the mail today, and we were both accepted into the program. So, good things do come. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Okay, so stand up for just a second. Face the audience. And you're done. How's it feel? Good. Nice job. All right, that's the way to do it. Yeah, the cleansing breath.